Hey, if you click this video, you are a restaurant owner who is potentially growing into more restaurants. Maybe you have a burgeoning restaurant group, or maybe you're at one looking to go to two. And this is the thing. Opening more restaurants is a scary proposition. There is a load of problems that you're going to deal with. New problems, things that you used to think were totally figured out are going to present themselves as new issues. Those fears are normal, natural, and actually smart. But I'm going to show you right now all the things you need to be concerned about and the stuff you don't need to worry about with 5 actionable tips you're going to do right now to set yourself up for greatness for any additional stores you take on in your restaurant group. Because keep in mind, screwing a few of these up can destroy a restaurant. You've seen restaurant groups just implode, people that are growing like crazy and then because they did these things wrong. So before I get into any of that, I'm Mike Bausch. I own Andolini's Worldwide, a real restaurant group. Me and my brother have owned this for 20 years. We have 12 restaurants and we're growing. I know what it takes to scale and I've seen what it takes to fail because we've come close in the past and fixed it, but it was So to not do that for yourself, please understand this is not by accident. And the first thing I'm going to emphasize is a proper chain of command, obvious to your structure. But before I get into it, understand down in the description is a link to book a restaurant review call where we deep dive on your specific brand and talk to you about it and see if what we do is right for you with the Unsliced Restaurant System, what I do in addition to this to get restaurant owners out of their own way and growing on their own terms, because I'm passionate about making this not so damn hard on the dedicated individuals who want more out of this thing. So organizational flow is not just, okay, yeah, this is my kitchen guy and this is my lead server. That's not good enough. It needs to be very, very meticulously known to even a new hire who reports to who, an org chart. Now, building out an org chart, I've built one in Canva. I've built this very, very finite. It's not magic, but it needs to be obvious. Hey, if I think we should do some post on social media, who do I go to? If I think that this person's doing something wrong, who do I go to? Is it my direct superior? Who is my direct superior? Do I go to the owner? Do I go to the owner's wife? Do I go to my manager? Do I go to my lead on the line? Who is in control at any given moment? If it's obvious to you, know this, it's not obvious to them unless it's on paper and presented to them in training and still in front of them, and it's being live updated. So they know who they report to, and it's not a question. As you build and grow, you're going to have multiple stores with multiple people and maybe even multiple overhead individuals who you want your staff to be aware of. Hey, someone did something inappropriate. Do I reach out to payroll, or do I have an HR person, or do I tell my owner? Do I tell my boss? Again, you want to kill ambiguity. Ambiguity is not your friend. Specificity is, especially when you're on a growth trajectory, because you can't answer every question. So building an SOP for the questions that are inevitably going to present themselves that you never had to worry about in the past because you were just there with them is how you scale smart. Now, number 2 goes right along with number 1, and that is having the right leadership team. Notice my words, right leadership team. Leaders are not simply managers. Managers are task-oriented people. Like, hey, do this, you can go home. Leaders have a vision for the day. You are the visionary of this business, but do you have other people that know what your vision is so they continually push it on your behalf, especially when you're not around? Because if you seek to be the only person with any vision and any leadership, you're going to be in a very sad position. Right now, when you have one store, it's a backpack. And you could still run with a backpack on. And when you go to store 2, it's harder. You put a backpack on the front, you're wearing a backpack on the back, backpack on the front. I got this. Don't worry. I got this. I can handle 2 backpacks. But when you put this one here and this one here, and now you have store 5 and this one's around your neck, and you're like, I can still run. I'm the best at running. I'm a visionary leader. You will suck. You're going to suck at this job, and everyone else is going to be like, I can carry a backpack, bro. I don't know why you're not. No. It's me. I have to be the one. I'm the visionary leader. You guys just do your tasks. That's how you fail as you grow. You have to be able to not only delegate, but trust and build leaders, not just your best task-oriented people who just blindly do, you need me to do that, boss? Sure, I'll do it, because they're not going to be the ones to get things done when you're not around. The next tip is knowing if it's time to expand. Over-expanding without proper preparation is failure at scale. So how do you set the tone? First, you got to be able to walk away for 2 weeks and have little to nothing happen without you in the mix, and it goes perfectly fine, still remains profitable. Huzzah. If you get 30 texts a day still that you need to respond to, and all the emails, and someone's like, hey boss, we don't know how to do this, we don't know how to do this, we don't know how to do this. All right, this person quit because you weren't around. You're not ready to expand. You have to fix all that first. The next thing that comes along with expanding is, are you ready to expand financially? And I mean that in a few ways. One, not just you have the money for it, but have you gotten all the money out of this? Like, a lot of people open store 2 purely for ego. Like, we should open another store. Should you? Do you even have catering going at scale yet? Are you busy every night of the week? Not just Friday and Saturday we have line out the door. Cool, brah. What about Tuesday? Like, there's more money here. If there's a ton of demand over there and your ops are tight and you know you could pull it off and it won't cannibalize each other and it's just a continuation of this brand to this brand, great. But when people are like, no, we're going to do this whole other thing really close to this thing, you confuse people. When you're like, we're going to take all of our best people here and put them right here, you're going to now handicap store 1, all your focus is on store 2, and you are going to spend money on 2 buildings to have less actual profit. This is when expanding is done stupidly. Expanding thoughtfully means I have an A team and an A team. The same brand is continuing. We know our SOPs. We know what we're doing, and everything has a new audience to fulfill it, not cannibalizing the existing one. And I can walk away from both of them because everything's been set up for success. That's expanding with thought. The others are expanding for ego. Don't do that. Now, the next thing I'm about to share, when done right, avoids your restaurant group closing. When done wrong, you will close. When done right, you will expand very, very fast. But before I do that, go to the restaurant review link in the description and get your call on with us so we can do this with you so you don't have ambiguity of how to do it right. So the next is the expansion snowball. You got store 1. You got store 2, you got store 3. Now you're like, everything's great. It's about to not be because of this very finite reason. You need overhead. You now need a payroll specialist. You now need a bookkeeper. You now need a few other things potentially like IT, hiring manager, blah, 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 our repairs and maintenance person. This is money on top of money on top of money. So even though you're now at 3 stores, you're less profitable than 1 store, which means you got to work your ass off to get the 6+ stores as fast as possible, or else this all falls in on itself because you need more people to pull this off, but now you need more business and profit and locations to sustain it. Now, there's one beautiful caveat of all that overhead I just described. There's one hire you are going to do when you get to 3+ stores, maybe even less than that, because it makes money. All the other ones cost money, and it's your catering director. You're gonna get a catering director, one that doesn't just fulfill orders, but goes and gets new ones, not just steeped in marketing, but sales, going and getting that new revenue to make Tuesday afternoon a banger when you know it would have been dead before that. You get your overhead right, you make sure they're doing their job effectively and well, along with a catering director that is producing revenue upon revenue for your brand, and now you have a smart plan for expansion. Number 4, as you grow, you have to tighten control of not only your training, but your culture. When you were at store 1, you were there kicking it. Everyone digs each other's vibe. You are leading and everyone knows this is what this restaurant stands for because via osmosis of being close to you, they just got it. But now when a new hire doesn't see you for 1, 2, 3 days, weeks, how are you gonna implement that? Hey, we stand for this. We stand for this in the community and always giving back and making the best product and this and this and this and this and this. That means you have to have a very, very dedicated training program with a lot of videos of you explaining what you stand for and giving curated, detailed explanations of how to make food the right way, how to treat people the right way, so that way these new hires are being trained by you, even though there's a proctor along for the ride. That's the only way it's gonna work at scale. 60 years ago, it would have had to been you visiting every store every single day to try and get this to work. You don't have to do that. Videos are going to do a lot of the work for you if you do them right, if you engage correctly, and if you live the brand and emote when you speak on camera. Now, along with all that, to keep the culture going, you're going to have group events with all these stores coming together. Hearing you talk, you're going to go store to store for dedicated leadership training. Your new managers are still going to be trained by you because at that level, they still need to feel your essence to give it to your staff. It's the only way to grow at scale is to make sure the influential people of your restaurant know what you stand for and know your vibe. As you do that, you're going to have people that just don't fit, and you have to part ways with them as fast as possible. And the ones that do want to fit, they need to know exactly what this restaurant stands for, what the values are, and that you, again, lived them, breathed them, and emote them in how you speak to the staff. Even if you have multiple styles of restaurant, the core ethos of the restaurant, of what we stand for, is going to be universal. So let that still be in the training. I don't care if you have a 7 different restaurant brand group like we do, the day one training is identical. And it's, here's who we are, here's what we stand for. Get those points across, and it doesn't matter if you're selling guacamole or marinara. Number 5, as you expand, finances expand too. The financial swing went from here where, oh wow, we took a $10,000 hit to fix that machine to, oh wow, we have to pay $100,000 in taxes. Like, the financial swing becomes way bigger, which means you got to get smarter about your finances and have a massive buffer. Your buffer went from being maybe a few 30 grand, 50 grand to potentially 500 grand in the bank in case everything goes to crap like it has in the past. It's gonna happen. You gotta be prepared for it. Restaurants go under when they haven't prepared for this. You have to have a bank that is in it with you. You need to have some level of CFO in the mix who has a plan with you. Now, your regular data entry of your P&L, you can do. Your taxes, a CPA could do. When you get to, let's say, 4 or 5 stores, hiring a professional CFO, a CFO for hire is available. It's someone who's done this, probably a retired guy who used to work for, let's say, a big restaurant chain. Getting someone like that to overview your stuff is a very, very affordable and essential way to have that level CFO without spending massive CFO money. And in these practices with this CFO, you want to run through best case and absolutely worst case scenarios and what you would do and if you're prepared for it. Because if you're not prepared for it, guess what? It's gonna happen. Murphy's Law says if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And when it does go wrong, how do you handle it? And how have you already proactively planned for it? Because that's what's gonna save you from closing. It's also gonna make it so that when you do hit the numbers, you exactly know this is what we're doing with it. We're investing in this and doubling down on that and focusing on this because we have a strategy. Now, if you haven't done any of these things, I'm gonna tell you that's okay. Today is a new day. If you've done some of these things, know that you have to do these. These aren't suggestions. These are have to do items for you to have this restaurant scale on your terms and not in a dumbass manner. I've been a dumbass. You've probably at some point been a dumbass. Dumbassery is okay, but being aware enough to say, hey, let's not do that anymore, and let's actually get, our big boy pants on and do this right is what it's gonna take. If you want a guiding light to help you with that, go into the restaurant review call, which is the link in the description, so that we can make sure you're set up for success. I'm an independent restaurant owner, no venture capital. We have built this for 20 years on our own, and I know how to do that. There's not many of me out there, but if you're one of those types who wants to scale, the game on. Book your call and I'll see you soon. In the meantime, here's a video on how to solve any restaurant problem that arises in your restaurant. I'm pretty proud of it. I think you'll dig it.